This movie is comedy gold. Okay, everybody, today we're going all the way back to 1982 to look at a movie that I truly love and is probably as politically correct as laughing at somebody's heart attack. But we are talking about the one and only Jeckyll and Hyde together again. Before we go any further, before we dig into this anymore, once and again, and as always, to the trailer. And since I can only find two little 30-second spots, I'm going to kind of put them together, at least give you a minute of entertainment. Let's go.
It's Jekyll and Hyde together again in the most audacious, outrageous comedy of the year. Jekyll and Hyde together again, and they're still crazy after all these years.
You need a doctor!
Rated R.
Now playing National Westwood Chinese Hollywood in theaters near you.
All I can tell you is that something unexpected and horrible is happening to me. I change into another person again. Dr. Jekyll? Yes, I am Dr. Jekyll.
It's Jekyll and Hyde together again. The comedy that examines modern living through chemistry. Rated R.
Now playing National Westwood Chinese Hollywood in theaters.
Okay, this motion picture was directed by Jerry Belson. Know him? No. Did I? No. Doesn't make a difference. But he directed some TV shows. We're talking about he did stuff like The Mary Tyler Moore Show. He did Rhoda. He did The Odd Couple. And was also a writer on a lot of shows, most notably The Tracy Ullman Show. So he was out. He was about. He made some waves in writing, directed some TV shows. That's all you need to know. Alright, everybody, the cast in this motion picture is funner than the pig and shit. So let's just get rolling. In the main role, we're talking about Mark Blankfield. He was in stuff like The Incredible Shrinking Woman, and it was really on a lot of TV. Night Court, Taxi, Hunter, Cagney and Lacey, Sledgehammer, Charles in Charge, Alf, Saved by the Bell, Doogie Howser, Walker, Texas Ranger, and most notably the TV show Fridays, if anybody remembers that. And then you got Bess, Armstrong, High Road to China, The Four Seasons, Jaws 3D, and tons of TV. Grey's Anatomy, Bosch, Switched at Birth, House of Lies, One Tree Hill, That Was Then, Frasier, Married People, My So-Called Life. Of course, you got the one and only Tim Thomerson, Near Dark, Uncommon Valor, Carney, Volunteers, Trancers and its sequels, Dollman and its sequels, Cherry 2000, Iron Eagle, Rhinestone, The Osterman Weekend, Metal Storm, The Destruction of Jared Sin, Fade to Black, and of course the TV show Quark, if anybody remembers that. You got Michael McGuire, tons of TV shows, Dark Shadows, Columbo, Kojak, Mannix, Police Story, Streets of San Francisco, Taxi, Lou Grant, Knots Landing, Empire, Cheers, Jag, Empty Nest, you name it, he was there, Golden Girls, Dynasty, whatever, let's keep going. Then you got Krista Errickson. She was in Little Darlings, Jailbait, Martial Outlaw, Mortal Passions, Killer Image, and on TV she was on stuff like, Matthew Starr, and Hello Larry, and of course, you have the one and only Cassandra Peterson. You know, Elvira. I'm not going to list all the things that she's done. I'm not going to point out the things that she's been in. She's always been Elvira. She is Elvira, and she is in this motion picture looking recently enhanced compared to old Cassandra Peterson. Just chucking that out there. Okay, everybody, I'm going to try to do this in 90 seconds or less. So I can keep short, keep fast, keep entertaining, keep it moving, so we can get to where we would much usually spend more time. We're talking about the summation. This motion picture starts out, you're watching this doctor, he's doing brain surgery in this, surgery office, hospital lab, call it what you want. And everybody's in a marvel because he's so amazing, he's so great, and all this other kind of stuff. And in the middle of the surgery's end, after all applauding him, he literally says to everybody, I am never going to do a surgery again. I am now just going to go into research because I believe that inside of every human being, they possess the ability to fight off any diseases with their more primordial self. And everybody's like, well, how are you going to do that? And he goes, drugs. And everybody's like, yay, this is great. Except that the guy that runs the hospital, he's not too happy because he has this old rich guy. Think of like the world's richest man. And he needs a heart, liver, kidney, lung, testicles, ass transplant. And the only man that can do that is the amazing Dr. Jeckyll. But Jeckyll doesn't want to do surgery anymore. He's going to go purely into research. Well, the doctor, head guy at the hospital, I should say, grabs him in the hallway and says, yo, man, you're doing this surgery. I'm going to put my foot in your ass. And he's saying, no, I refuse. I'm totally research. You do something else with this guy. And he goes, no. And he goes, remember, you're marrying my daughter, because Jekyll's marrying this powerful guy's daughter. And Jekyll's like, well, you wouldn't, ruin the marriage because of that. And he starts laughing uncontrollably, whatever. So he goes into this ward to help out all the people that live, well, just under the poverty line and have really bad, health coverage. Anyway, he's in there and his girlfriend shows up. Bess Armstrong. And she says, hey, how you doing, baby? You got a lower class, you got to spend time with me more, whatever. And he starts telling her about how, he's not going to be doing the surgery. And she goes, yeah, my daddy told me that you're not going to do the surgery. And I just want to let you know, I know you might think that I would never marry you if you were broke, and you're completely right. Ooh. Well, that's not too cool. Next thing you know, Dr. Jeckyll goes back to his office. He's kind of working. And a nurse comes in and she goes, hey, we got a problem. We got a person come in and she's got something stuck in her ha-ha-ha. He goes in to see what's this girl's problem, to remove the foreign object from her ha-ha. And then, well, sight gag, you get the thing. But he gets talking to this chick and she helps him out, blah, 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 blah. Well, I should say he helps her out. And she says, well, I just got a hole in my pantyhose. And he gives her $10 because he thinks that she's the hottest thing that ever lived on planet Earth. Anyway, whatever. He goes back to doing more of his research in his lab, where he's mixing this powder and that powder, and he's finding out that none of them are working and they're just killing mice and all this other kind of shit. But he falls asleep after a new mixture, and a straw magically goes up his nose, and he snorts some of this shit completely by accident. Well, what have you, it transforms the amazing Dr. Jeckyll into the one and only Mr. Hyde. He is a nightclub toting, gold ring wearing, well, I'm not going to say anything else about him. You can just get the idea by looking at the pictures. And he's going to go out and find the one and only Ivy, who he removed this dude from her vajayjay. And anyway, go meet her at Club Woo Woo, where she's a performer with a really, really shitty band. And he goes there, and they have some wild, crazy sex, and it just goes on all night. When he wakes up in the morning, he realizes he spent thousands. He's going to be broke because in his Mr. Hyde mode, him and this chick were going at it. And he also realizes he had sex with a goat. Whatever. So he feels so guilty. He catches up to his girlfriend, who's at this equestrian thing, riding a horse, and he says, baby, I love you, I'm so sorry. She's like, yeah, I get it. And he's like, no, baby, I love you, I'm so sorry. She's like, yeah, baby, whatever. Anyway, the movie continues. Anyway, he goes and he tries to throw all these new super powder in the toilet, but he doesn't have the willpower. He can't do it. He's like, no, I can't pull this off. And he winds up doing just a little bit more. Next thing you know, he goes looking for Ivy once again, and he can't find her. The guys are like, oh, she's at the grocery store. So he goes to the grocery store and he finds her, and they have more crazy sex. And the next thing you know, he wakes up and he realizes he was doing a three-way with her and some dude. Some crazy shit was taking place. He's like, oh my God, I can't believe I did this again. I'm a horrible human being. So he goes running back to Mary, who is still living with her very, very powerful hospital-owning daddy. And when he meets, when he goes and catches up to Mary, I should say, he goes in the room and he's about to seduce her and all that to prove his love. And around that moment, the father comes in, points a shotgun at his head, says, you're going to deflower my baby? And he goes, hey, I'll do the surgery. And the dad says, hey, fuck her brains loose. That's fine with me now. So he goes in to do the surgery. Everything is rolling along, except that he's got a problem. He is now changing without the drugs. There's some weird effect. He's freaking out. He's like, oh my God, I didn't do anything, but I'm turning back into Mr. Hyde. What's going on? He loses his mind during the surgery. He freaks out. He runs out. He runs to his buddy, Tim Thomerson, the plastic surgeon. And he says, man, I got this problem. I'm changing. I'm losing my shit. I can't keep controlling myself no more. I don't know what's going on. Upon which Tim Thomerson, in the middle of a breast job with some lady, says, don't worry, I've got some things I'm doing too. And I got changes I'm making. And wham! And well, you get the rest of the idea. So Hyde runs out the window. In the midst of all this, we find out that Dr. Jeckyll, now has won $500,000. And he's going to be given this $500,000 grant in London. So Hyde is trying to get over to London to get his $500,000. So before he does it, he stops off and he talks to Ivy. And as he's talking to Ivy, he's like, hey baby, me and you got to hook up again. And she's like, no, you're a jerk, I don't want nothing to do with you. I really like that that doctor guy. And he's like, I am the doctor guy. And she's like, no. And he's like, yes. So he winds up just leaving her behind, but she gets pissed. She grabs a gun and she's like, I'm going to make this son of a bitch pay. And while he's flying to London on the back of an airplane, quite literally, she takes a train from California to New York and then across the ocean. Is what it is. They all wind up in London at the same time. We're giving away this grant. He's getting the big Putz Puller Award. And he goes up there and breaks into it. And in the middle of that, he goes into a musical comedy routine that Rodney Dangerfield would be proud of. It's amazing. Anyway, in the middle of all that, he starts running out the building because they're chasing him out. Everybody and their brother is chasing him down the street. It's incredible. It turns into an old-fashioned movie, like something from a Hammer flick in black and white. And he goes up there, and Ivy shoots him, and he falls down off the building, and he lands there. And the two women surround him, and they both realize, oh my God, you're banging him, I'm banging him. And the straight-laced, nice, sweet Bess Armstrong says, oh God, I wish I had him just because I'd love to have the sex-crazed version of him. And the hooker chick, Ivy, says, I really wish I could have the sweet doctor. And they're like, well, we could share, can't we? I'll take the evil guy and you take the good guy and I can finally get what I want and you can finally get what you want. And everybody lives happily ever after. All right, that's the story. That's the nutshell. That's the idea. Is what it is. Let's keep moving. All right, everybody. Does this motion picture work? Yes. Yes. Yes, this motion picture works. It is one of the great hidden comedies of all time. Much like a Used Cars, where people might not necessarily know, but those who know, know. But before we dig into any more why, let's get the big thing out of the way. The directing, it's solid enough. Come on, it's just kind of a motion picture. This is Airplane meets Mel Brooks. You get it. It doesn't need to be the most incredible directing. Television-style directing is more than sufficient for a motion picture like this. So, the directing is fine. The writing, the lines and the gags in this work. Some are a little goofy, most of them are visual, but the lines and the gags in this motion picture work. So the writing, again, keep in mind what we're dealing with, is completely fine. It's completely effective and it does its job. The acting! I'm going to get into Blankfield in a minute. I'm saving that for a second. But the acting is point on by every single human being in this motion picture. It's funny, it's farcical, it's ridiculous, it's over the top. And everybody from Errickson to Armstrong to Thomerson, everybody plays it spot on. Couldn't get anything more from the acting. It's just what you need. It's the kind of shit you would see in a Naked Gun movie. It's that kind of shit, but it works and it's effective. So the acting, not a problem in the world. Now let's get why this motion picture works, everybody. I'm going to throw this out there right now. This is one of the best comedic performances I have ever seen in a motion picture by an individual actor in the history of my life. Blankfield goes above and beyond and just dominates in this motion picture. I shit you not. This is like Jim Carrey shit before Jim Carrey was Jim Carrey. That's what I'm talking about. Blankfield just goes out there. I could just imagine him being in the studio as they're filming this thing. And they're like, cameras, roll. Mark, do your shit. And my man goes on an insane tour de force, completely divorcing himself from that he's in a room full of cameras, completely divorcing himself from the fact that everybody's watching him make a fool of himself, completely divorcing from the fact that he must feel and look like a complete asshole at the moment. But he delivers over-the-top comedy fucking gold in this motion picture. Dom DeLuise in the end level shit in this motion picture. The kind of stuff that Carrey always wants to do in his motion pictures type level shit in this motion picture. If anything, just watching this movie for his performance is gold enough, is good enough to sit there and watch this movie. So, right off the get-go, that's an easy win. That's an easy reason to be there. But beyond that, the gags work. The movie has an insane tone. There's little through lines that are always found, like the fact that he can't keep his pants up. He's always trying to tug up on him no matter what he does, and tuck his shirt in. Little things that just keep reoccurring that are funny and odd and bizarre. And again, this is not a politically correct motion picture. So, by today's sensibilities, some people might say, what the hell are they doing? But, this is 1983. When comedy, and everybody could still just laugh at themselves and have a little bit of fun and have a gag. And in this motion picture, it shows, and it is fucking hilarious. Hilarious. If this movie throws you, you're taking life a little bit too seriously. It's meant to be funny. It is funny, and it is off the hook. Now, are there any negatives in this movie? How can you have a negative in a movie like this? A movie like this has two things to do. Be funny, deliver gags. That's it. That's it. And this thing does it. Almost like the first Naked Gun, or the first Airplane, or something like that, or the first Ace Ventura. As long as it keeps that pace and it keeps making you laugh every couple seconds and doing shit that's visually and audibly funny, it delivers. And this motion picture does it over and over and over and over and over again. It's moving at a quick pace. It's only like an hour and 28 minutes long. Fast, short, makes you laugh. If it makes you laugh more than once every 2 minutes, it's doing its job. And this movie will make you laugh at least once every couple of minutes, easily, as you are watching it from beginning to end. The sensibilities are hilarious. The sight gags are funny. You can't take it seriously. It's completely goofy. And if anything, the ending, when they completely almost shift into another motion picture and go into this old school vaudevillian hammer flick, much like, say, History of the World Part 1, or Blazing Saddles, I should say. Blazing Saddles would be the perfect example. How at the end, it's a cowboy movie that breaks into Hollywood and they're fighting on a back lot. This motion picture makes a shift like that, and it is fucking golden. You're like, how much farther can they go? What more can they do? They just had Blankfield go into a Rodney Dangerfield-esque nightclub shitty act in front of this British crowd that you're like, oh my God, I didn't see that coming. And it's fucking hilarious. And the jokes are bad because they're meant to be bad. Because he's supposed to be a shitty nightclub guy. But when he breaks into musical number, it's fucking gold. It's fucking gold. But then, as I said, when it turns into the old black and white kind of bluish looking 1960s Hammer looking type flick, with him really being Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde running around through the streets with a cane and doing the whole shit, you're like, they had nowhere else to go, so they just hammered down and went as crazy as they fucking could. And it is brilliant. So, no complaints with this motion picture. Nothing I think needs to be improved on. I laughed at it when I was 13. I laugh at it to this fucking day. I still think it's one of the funniest comedies out there. And I still think it is literally one of the best comedic performances by an individual actor. Whole crew does great. Whole cast does great. But by an individual actor that I've ever seen committed to celluloid. Get out there. Watch Jeckyll and Hyde together again. I hope you enjoy it. You might think it sucks. That's fine. Leave a comment below. But in my opinion, Jeckyll and Hyde together again is one of the greatest unsung heroes in comedy and motion picture history. It should be remembered higher, and Blankfield should have been literally as big as Jim Carrey, if not bigger. Anyway, that's it, folks. Be good, take care, stay kind to your... Wait a minute. A stranger, and be there for a friend. I almost forgot my own shit. What do you got to say? But most of all, never, ever, and I mean ever, take any bullshit from anybody. See y'all soon.